Hiroshima, Japan, and today I am talking with consultant for business people who are entrepreneurs or small business owners looking for a bit of support and guidance to navigate how to get projects done and how to do government paperwork. We're going to talk about lots of good stuff. Thanks so much for joining, Eremi.
Thank you for inviting me, Joy.
So, Eremi Rey Hermosilla, and you speak English, of course, perfectly beautifully. You also speak Spanish, is that right?
Yes, a little bit, un poquito.
And you were working with a big international company before and
Mhm,
using your experience from your various positions in your career to
mhm.
now be a consultant. And you often connect your consultancy strategy to being a Sherpa. Can
Shelpa,
you tell
yes.
us? Yeah, tell us about your idea about being a consultant. How do you see your role?
Um, because I have been doing my business on my own, and often you get stuck. You don't know what to do, how to start, how to get things moving, and I think it's important to have someone to talk to, even small things, everyday things, and if there is someone like a Shelpa who guides you to the goal that you want to achieve, like a step by step, I think that would be a great help for a small business owner like myself.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll talk a little bit more specifically about some of the hurdles that you think most business people are coming across. But before that, last week I interviewed a filmmaker. Now
Mhm.
it doesn't sound related yet, but she made a film about a Japanese woman who's struggling to make
Mhm.
her kimono business work. It's called Impossible to Imagine.
Uh huh.
And so I watched the film yesterday. Really interesting. It's all in Japanese. And there's an Australian woman who's lived in Japan for a long time who wrote it.
Mhm.
And in the film, she hires a consultant,
Mhm.
and the consultant helps her transition her small business to help it survive
Okay.
and give her new ideas. And so I thought that was
Mhm.
great to watch before I talked to you. And of because your job is to be a support, and you talk about you don't you don't see your role as trying to give people quick tips to quickly help them improve their
Mhm.
business. You have more of a long-term view, is that right?
Yes, yes, that's what I want to do, because the quick tip is you can easy to get, and then maybe it might be a help, but for a short time period, just quick effect. But in the long term, um, you need to re-establish like the way of how to see the business. It's more like business mind. It's like change the diet, change the habit. So, but it doesn't get the result quickly. Ne? It takes time because it change your habit, the way of thinking and everything. So it takes longer than a quick tip.
I think that's the best way, right? And in terms of being a sustainability strategist as well,
Yes,
I
yes.
want to work with somebody over the long term because sustainability and successful business strategy, you need to have a long term view and you
Mm-hmm.
need the support as you're going. I think one of the interesting things that I saw from your website is talking about um, the hurdles that people have
Mm-hmm.
towards the end when you're almost at your goal, and
Mm-hmm.
then something happens and you have to reassess, right? So if
Yes,
you
yes.
if you have a consultant like you who's supporting along the way, that's
Mm-hmm.
so much easier to make adjustments along the
Yes,
way, right?
yes, yes, yes. Because um, you because you're not just focusing on one specific project, but you're dealing with the everyday routine. And when something else happens and you get stuck, and even you want to, you kind of giving up the one that you always wanted to. But I can help to adjust the goal, maybe by postponing or adding task, but not just giving up, just change the way how to achieve the goal. But gradually you get there. So I don't want people to give up easily. I want them to achieve, even change the course, or even it's longer to achieve. You can't get there. So I want them to experience the success, and then want to achieve the goal that they dreamt of. That's that's what I want to do. I want to help.
And I worked with you on getting government subsidy for helping my business with new projects and helping my
Yeah,
business move, and that it really helped, that extra support for international business people to
that's
try
good.
to get through the paperwork and to get over the hurdle. It's not just about the language, it's about
Mhm.
how to do it, right? The best strategy. So when I worked with you and you listened to what I was doing, what my skills are,
Mhm.
how I thought of moving forward, and then you were acting as kind of a bridge between what needs to
Mhm.
be on this form and what the Japanese side needs to see from me,
Mhm.
and then helping to make that bridge, which is so important and so difficult for people, even if their language skill is great, right? So you
Yeah.
you are applying that know-how as well, right?
Mhm. Because like SDGs is, I knew the word, and then I know that's what you've been working on, but I never really had a chance to get to know deeply. But as working for you, I learned, I researched, and then what how I can connect your work and for the subsidy. And yeah, it was really good for me to know. And then also, I you got this idea, but it may be difficult for the government to see why it's so important, and then how you could be a help for the society. And then Hiroshima, I really wanted to make it clear and for them to understand, and supporting your business would be a great help for Hiroshima. So that's what I wanted to focus on that one. But yeah, it was really really good opportunity for me to learn SDGs. And then now I'm actually working for the other guy. He's a restaurant owner, and one of the he never thought about it, but he said that he's using the vegetables or the fish from the local, and then that is one of the goal that SDGs number 13 or could be
The
7.
climate 13 is climate action. Yeah. So
Yes.
if you're applying your own idea for how to solve something in your own unique way, that's such an
Mm-hmm.
exciting part of the SDGs, I think. And I'm so excited to hear that, because I often come across businesses that
Mm-hmm.
are doing something so sustainable and so connected to SDGs, but they don't use it in their branding. They
Yes.
don't
Yes.
communicate that to
Mm-mm.
the customer. And so I hope that's the role that I can help support them and
Mm-hmm.
say, you should really tell your customers about this. This is amazing, you know?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. That's good for me now that I can point. Oh, what you're doing is related to SDGs, and then you can appeal to your customers, like
Yeah.
not exporting the cheap vegetables from abroad? Why don't you get from the local market? That's saving energy, you know.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I look forward to collaborating with you, and maybe you can put me in touch with him and I'll help him
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
communicate
Yeah.
that to the
Yes.
customers a bit more.
Yes.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
yes. That's really
now,
good.
now, something you've been doing, which is really challenging,
Mm-hmm.
you have been writing a blog every day, giving some business advice, right? On Note. Tell me about that. That's amazing.
Yes. It's not every day anymore, but I used to write, yes, every day. And these days I just upload the short, like a messages for the business owners. Sometimes it's just about my life, but I try to connect to the business. Like the other day, I uploaded, like my son, he's 4 years old, and I just on that morning was really really cold, so I put the toilet heating on the toilet, and it's a tiny thing, but when he sat down on the toilet seat, he went, oh, "Mommy, this is really warm." So tiny thing that you do, and then but you can make other people happy, and then that can apply to the customers of yours. Maybe you might think that it's not the big deal, but it could be a big deal for your customers. So why don't you look for those things, even though it's not doesn't seem to be a big thing, you can still make people happy. So that kind of thing, I make it a short sentences with graphic. The
I think that's
that.
absolutely true. And like yesterday, I went to a vegan pop up. So he's trying to serve vegan food and
Mm-hmm,
at a cafe, and they were using like old retro style coffee cups and
mm-hmm.
different mix and match because it's not a set anymore, but they're reusing the old one. And I really
Okay.
appreciate that because they
Mm-mm,
didn't throw it out because some in the set is broken. And so
mm,
I made sure as a customer to say, I love all these old, plates and cups and stuff. And thank you for using that. And that's very
mm-hmm,
sustainable because they're
mm,
reusing and using longer, right? And that's a service that he thought of to make his customers happy,
mm.
right? But
Yes,
maybe
yes,
people
yes.
don't realize that. But if
Mm-mm,
I'm served something in a beautiful old container versus a plastic container, I
mm-mm,
appreciate that so much. So I think
mm-mm,
in terms of sustainability and customer service, it often
mm.
goes hand in hand, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You can connect, and just you need to visible. Because some people don't see it that connection, so it's important to make it visible for people to appreciate even more.
Definitely. Yeah. Now let's talk about the graphics because I love your graphics. They're so simple but so beautiful. How long does it take you to make these graphics every day?
it's it's actually quite easy. All those materials are there. I use Canva. Do you know that?
Yes, yes.
And then if you using like a free one, you connect like if you want to, maybe there is no building figure is available, but brick is available. So I build one by one, make it look like a building, or I don't know, something that connects to the sentences, and then easy to uh catch, eye catch, be a cat, eye catch,
Yeah, eye-catching, right?
eye catching. Yes.
It's great and it's so simple and it's so easy to read quickly. And I think on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media, this is a really great concept, right? Something that people can see. It's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to take in the meaning, a nice simple graphic, a
Mm-hmm.
few sentences, not too much to read, right? Really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's talk about your website a little bit. You talk about the 3 wishes of small business owners. So I wish there were 2 of me. I wish someone would kick me up the backside. I wish there was someone who had my back.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit more about these?
Okay. The first one, I wish there were 2 of me. That's basically about me because I'm being mom and I'm doing this business, and I really wish if there was me, another me, ne? So while I'm cooking, I still can work. While I'm cleaning, I still can work. But of course, it's not gonna happen. So if there was somebody to do your job a little bit, and especially the part of your job that you don't really have to do it by yourself, so that you can focus on more something that only you can do. Yeah. And the next one, I wish someone could give me a kick up the backside. Um, Even there's something that you really want to do, sometimes for any specific reason, you get sort of stuck or you stop. Don't know why, you just can't, you know, move on. In a time like that, if somebody who is there to push your back a little bit, you know, hey, what's going on? Do you need help? Is something bothering you? Why don't you do this? You know, something like that. I think, especially a small business owner doing job on your own, alone, at home, it needs someone like that. I mean, if there's someone like that, that would be a big help. And the sad one,
That's just to comment. That's the aspect of accountability, right? Like if
mm-hmm,
you have a career coach, you have someone consulting like you who makes targets with the business person together, and then you
mm-hmm,
have a certain schedule when those targets should be met, right?
yes, yes,
That keeps you on track, right? And
mm-hmm,
I think especially during coronavirus, everybody's working at home. There's
yeah,
so many distractions at
yes,
home, right?
yes, that happens a lot. If you're at the office, then probably you don't have to see those things that bothers you at home. But once you're at home, you notice things and you get distracted quite easily. But if as someone who can monitor your work and tell you today you got these 3 tasks that you gotta do, otherwise the schedule will be delayed. So, but if something comes up, I can adjust. Okay, don't do that one then, you know. That can be moved next week, but let's focus on this one this week. Maybe 1 week we can postpone the goal, but still you can do it. So don't give up and then don't worry, you can make it happen. You know, that kind of support, I think it's helpful if you it's difficult to manage the schedule everything by yourself. So let me handle that bit, then you can focus on what you gotta do. That's what I want to provide.
Yeah.
And the last one, I wish there was someone who had my back. um you got lots of ideas, things that you want to do, but sometimes you just can't find where to start or how to start, and you get really frustrated because there's so many things that you want to do, but oh, shall I do this one first? No, 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 maybe I should do this one, and no, I should do that one first. Then the end of the day, you get really tired of thinking where to start, how to start. Then eventually you sort of forget it. I'm not going to do it because you're tired of thinking, trying to make a plan. But if I if I'm there, you don't need to worry about. You just talk about your idea, and then I can make a plan by asking you the questions. Then end of the chat, there is a plan ready for you to start from next day. So that kind of support I also want to provide for the small business owners. So much easy, especially the beginning.
Yeah. And I think one thing that you're also very good at is doing research.
Oh,
So you have a lot of contacts as well in different businesses, which you often ask for advice, as well as have your own advice from your own experience. And you do a lot of research in Japanese
mm-hmm.
and finding different things which help your clients. So I think being a good researcher, because all your clients' situation will be very case by case what their
Yes,
problem is, how you can assist with that specific problem. It's probably a little different each time, right?
yes, very. But um, I have like a really good business associate. So they, you know, specific areas that they are good at. So if I have questions, I can always ask. And also, I have like this Shoko Kaigisho, the commercial associate. They are really helpful when it comes to like subsidy application and stuff. So I can also count on those people's support too. And then that's really good for me and then for my clients.
That's it's really helpful. So not only doing the paperwork properly, but checking with people who really know the
Yeah.
inside story and then
Yes.
applying that to what your clients need, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really important.
Yeah.
One of the other, you said you started your business originally
Mm-hmm.
because you had a friend who needed your advice, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's when where I started. Because when I stopped working for the company and started my own business, I I still am a paralegal. 行政書士 行政書士 is paralegal if I translate. Um, so I'm doing more like the visa support, and I also Thai masseuse before, long time ago. But I always wanted to use my ability as a project manager, which one thing well, I think I am pretty good at. And when my friend asked me for advice, it was about more like paralegal side about the contract. But then I realized that the problem was, well, the contract itself as well, but about managing the project that they were trying to uh, move, make it move. So I asked the current situation, what is not yet like done, and what has been done, and so sort the situation, and then focus on the issues that they need to solve, and then step by step what they need to do. And then doing that, I realized I still like this sort of managing the project, like identifying the current situation, clarifying the issues, set the goal to achieve, and then in order to achieve the goal, you have to lay out all the necessary tasks and then make a plan and follow the plan to the goal. So that's what I had been doing as a project manager for about 10 years. And then that time I realized maybe I could do this as my business. That's that was the start.
Yeah, you mentioned having the paralegal background and being able to help with immigration and
Mm-hmm.
all. So you have your Visa Navi Japan.com. And so if people still have like immigration issues or
Mm-hmm.
international resident issues, or they want to come to Japan, they're having trouble, that is also another service that you still offer, right?
Yeah, yeah. I do that one, especially I am dealing with lots of same-sex married couple because they need to follow the special rules as Japanese government doesn't approve the same-sex marriage yet. So even they're married abroad, um, Japanese law doesn't see them as a married couple. So they can't bring their partner as a husband or wife. They gotta come to Japan as a tourist. They have to hold a tourist visa of 90 days, then change that visa to a designated activity visa. And then that process, sometimes it's a bit not complicated, but not clear. There's no specific explanation on the government's website. And in some countries, the consulate is not really aware that this system exists. So that's I try to support those people. Lots of people from Brazil. So that's why I started studying Portuguese a little bit. I'm a bit lazy these days, but yes, I also do this immigration support as well.
Yeah, that's really complicated, isn't it? And it's probably those rules are maybe changing all the time. I would imagine
Yeah.
Japan is trying to be more of
Hmm.
an international standard, maybe, but
Yes.
it's pretty slow, right?
Very slow. Because Taiwan now, they approved the same-sex married couple, and then probably Thai very soon, and then all other countries in Asia are probably moving towards that direction. Then Japanese government probably eventually. I hope, because it's really not fair for the same-sex married couple. So, but I know that it takes time to change the law. So at least what I can do now is to help those people to come to Japan as couple and then live in Japan as a couple. Because often they still have a problem living in Japan as a couple because there's no proof that they have a proof, the marriage certificate, but if it's not to be recognized as by the Japanese law, still need the support sometimes. So
Well, thank you for doing that. That's such important work, and hopefully it gets easier in Japan. Another group that you've been helping is international students, and this has been a really big issue this year and
mhm.
just changed again recently, right? With the borders closing.
Yes. They are trying to they were told that they finally could come to Japan, but all of a sudden, of course, it's closed. And also those students who are in Japan, they when they try to get change their visa from the student visa to a working visa, um, if unless you hold a university degree, it's you need to consider many things in order to change the visa, and it, mm, It's case by case, but maybe not easy for a student and the company who wants to hire the student. So I help those students and the companies in order to get the working visa for the students and then settle at the company.
Wow. So you can, because you're bilingual, you can help the student directly or the customer directly, but you can also help the Japanese business
Mm-hmm.
know how to do it as well. Is that right? Like both
Yeah.
sides?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I that's what I do, and I want to do a bit more, like a both side, because my husband is English, and like subsidy application, if you reside in Japan and you have your own business, small business owner, you have a chance to apply for that support. But of course, you don't know, and everything's written in Japanese, and there are lots of rules to follow, and tips how to write, and then how to put it right when you write an application form. So those, if I could help those people, they can do the business even better, you know. And if their business goes, how do you say, thrive, that would be good for the society as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I think
Mhm.
it's even what you were talking about before, helping the students transfer their visa to be a working visa, which Japan needs so many more workers, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if somebody wants to do that and you're helping them do that, that's so much better for Japanese economy,
Yeah.
Japanese society. We need more workers, right? So what
Mhm.
a great service.
Thank you.
It's not just about the individual, right? Like a lot
Mhm.
of the work that you're doing should be done a lot more by more consultants. I don't know many other consultants like you. I think the kind of work you're doing is kind of unique, right?
Mm, thank you.
Let's go back to your website. These are some of the common hurdles that you
Mhm.
talk about that a lot of not only international business owners, but Japanese career people maybe also struggle with similar types of
Mhm.
hurdles, right? So
Yes.
I just can't get started on a new project because the current tasks take up so much time. I hear this from a lot of people, right? Like they want to start their own business, but they're a bit
Mhm.
worried about leaving their current business because they have a
Mm.
secure salary, but
Mm-mm.
they're too busy with the current job to start
Mhm.
the new idea, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. That's really, well, many people has got this kind of issues, and then that one of the reason that you get this is you don't see it. It's important to visualize. If I write it down, if I have a meeting with you in front of the big whiteboard, this whiteboard behind me, I always write everything. Just let things out from your head. Write it down, everything. Then you can see the uh the starting point. Get rid of all the others, and then this is where you can start. Not big step. It's a small step, but it's a start. And you do a little by little, especially if you're doing something, and then but you still want to do the new project, and then you need to find a way how to do both. Unless you ask somebody to support to let this one, the current business, go, let them handle it, and then you focus on the new project. You have to, unless you do that, you need to find a way to do both at the same time. And when you think about just in your head, it seems impossible to do it because you get worked up really easily. But once you can see it, you realize, oh, it's maybe not that complicated. Maybe I can do it. Actually, I did this thing the other week. She had this idea and she was really worried. She didn't have much time until the like a deadline. And when I heard about it, I also thought, oh my God, not much time. We gotta do it now. But as we discussed, and then I was writing things on the whiteboard, and then hang on, if you just forget about this bit, and then if you decide now, you can move forward, and then look, done. You can get it done by the end of this is the target timing. Then we were both really relieved, and then oh yes, we can do it. So that things happen if even you're feeling like, oh my God, I can't get started. You always can. There is a way to start. And then
I think that's so important, right? And you have a quote on your website. Many creators are not good at defining tasks to make their ideas a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where your job comes in, right? To just,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, write everything down, and then you can help define the actual task and
Mm-hmm.
ignore the other stuff right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And let's just define the task that you need to do to get started. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's so important, like the role of the supporter.
Mm-hmm. Because you you know there are lots of things in your mind, but not necessarily has to be done at the same time. Each task you can, because you can't not do it everything at the same time. So if you define what you have to do and you just do this one fast and then second one is here, then you can see that what you have to do, and then you can also adjust really easily once you define the task. When you get insecure or you get nervous, you're worried, that's because you can't see the tasks, what needs to be done in order to achieve the goals. But if you know what has to be done at the very beginning, then you don't have to worry about anything. If you get those tasks done, then eventually you will be there, the goal that you want to achieve. So yeah, defining tasks or like achievable, that's important. So, yes, sometimes people make a big task, like write a book. In order to write a book, what do you have to do? You have to do the research. You have to think of the structures. You have to get whole pictures from the beginning to the end. So big task, you'll never be able to do it. So you have to break it down as small as possible. And then that, if it's small, easy to achieve, easy to get it done. That's I also help people to break down the task.
Yeah. That's so important. I had and I think many people have that, right? During coronavirus time, they're like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna like get some big project done. And I had that too. And I worked with a coach for a month trying to get a
Mm-hmm.
book done. And it was great investment for me because it made me realize I don't want to write a book right now. Like I went in thinking I want to write a book, and at the
Yeah.
end of the month, I was like, I definitely don't want to write a book right now. But that was successful as well because
Mm-hmm.
the outcome was completely different than I
Yeah.
expected, but it was the right outcome.
Mm,
And
mm,
I
mm, mm.
think like you with being a consultant or a coach or like a counselor,
Mm-hmm.
once you allow people to talk it out
Yeah. Yeah.
clearly, and then you as a supporter on the outside, you
Mm-hmm.
can help them see it more clearly, right?
Yes. Yes. Sometimes you think you want to, but do you, if I start asking questions, and then people realize, do I really want this? And then, sometimes that, it looks so fabulous. It's glamorous, those goals that you dreamed of. And then, wow, I want to do that. But sometimes it's not your dream, but somebody else's dream. Somebody think that's great. If you can do that, that's great. But it's not what you want really. So that also I want help people to see it. Don't get tricked by somebody else's ideas or thought, or what people think it's valuable, but it's nothing to do with your opinion. And go through this process, you can see that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we live in a social media world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to constantly compare yourself to
Yes.
other people and be like,
Mm-hmm.
why are they so popular? Why are they so good at this? I think
Yeah.
I should be that. Like compare yourself so often, and that it's unhealthy because
Mm-mm.
you have to kind of independently decide this is the right way for me, but
Yes.
it's so difficult to see that. So that's why talking to a consultant is
Mm-hmm.
so helpful. So I appreciate what you're doing so much.
Thank you.
So you talked about on your website the 4 steps to achieving your goal. So I think
Mm-hmm.
we talked about understanding the current situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then setting a goal, making a feasible plan, and
Mm-hmm.
then execute and make adjustments to get on track
Yeah.
again. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the 4 steps that I do. Um, I never thought that that's something that I have to specifically write it down, because I thought that, well, everybody else does. But I learned that it's difficult for some people to make a plan, like a feasible plan, or set the goal, because when there are so many things in your mind, it's difficult to even set the goal and execute, like we talked about earlier. um, it's just simple, just you need to follow the plan, but in reality, everything, if other things comes in, then your plan is delayed, and gradually you give up, and then you stop following, and the schedule or the plan is old, not updated. Then you don't look at the plan, then you give up. But yes, keep the plan updated, and then it is okay to change the plan. That's something that I want people to know and realize. You don't have to stick to it. Just think that the plan is changeable. Plan is just a plan, just something that uh, um, you follow, but it is okay to change according to the most updated situation. And important thing is to adjust the schedule, adjust the plan to get to the goal, just not to give it up in the middle. Then that plan, you know, take you to the goal eventually, if you, keep it updated. Yes.
Yeah. It's Do you also try to connect your client to different people that are going through something similar, or to try to join them with a community that might help them? Like, I guess people who read your blog,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like part of the same community. And this is
Oh.
only in Japanese, but some of your blog posts, you have like
Mm-hmm.
2,000 people liking it, right? Like,
Yes.
they really feel connected to what you're saying. And I
Mm-hmm.
think as a part of the blog, they probably feel more connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you ever see that in the comments, like people kind of collaborating on ideas in the comments section or
Um,
anything.
yeah, yes, sometimes one person recommend to the others, and then this person leaves the comment. So yeah, that happens sometimes. But I never really thought about, like, um my blog, or what I do is like creating a community for people to talk about the business. I
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean, you've just started, but this is something that other coaches have done. So
mm-hmm.
because you've got a Facebook page, you could also make a Facebook group of your
Oh,
clients, and they could, communicate kind of in a more private way.
mm-hmm.
That's becoming like a popular way to keep your clients connected to each other and maybe helping each other as well
Okay.
as you helping them. Yeah,
All
I've seen
right.
that. Yeah,
Mm,
it's another idea.
mm-hmm. No, thank you.
That's all right. Going back to your list, there are a lot of unfinished projects on the table. I can identify with this. I think we have a lot of great ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so easy to have all these ideas and then you do some a little bit and then give up, right? Like,
Yes.
what's your strategy to help people focus on the one with the most potential for
Mm-hmm.
success, right? That's an important part of your job, right?
Yes, yes. If it's things that you want to do, you do it anyway. But you have to, like, I have to do it. I have to do it. You have to motivate yourself so hard. Then maybe that's not the top priority. No? So the top priority one is something that you don't need to motivate yourself. You just wanna do it. But if there are not just one, the three, four, fives, then you need to prioritize. And I always try to do, well, it depends. Some people want to focus on profit, wants to make money. Then I would go for the most profitable project. And but other people, if they want to experience, like, the feeling of success, like achieving the goal, completing the project, then I would go for the fast one, easy to achieve, easy to accomplish. uh, then then you can really feel, I've done it, I can do this. Then you go a little bit bigger project, and then one by one. And yes, so it depends what the client want, this experience of success, or making money quickly, or doing as many projects as possible. Then you have to make a plan like that, but still achievable, still feasible plan.
It's difficult, isn't it? I think, especially now, during coronavirus, a lot of work is still on pause, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the things that I'm doing, including this talk show, it's not creating revenue now. It's not creating income now, but it is building a brand for myself, and
Yeah.
it's educating me, and it's educating other people and
Mm-hmm.
supporting other business people like yourself. So I don't know where it's going to lead, but I feel like it's the best investment
Mm-hmm.
in my career that I can
Mm.
do right now. And so it's difficult, right? Because you have to have kind of a long-term view
Mm.
that if you follow your heart and do what you're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
that it will lead to somewhere
Yeah.
successful,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Because you never stop if there is a passion, and even you encounter some difficulties, the passion will, get you through the difficulties. And like you said, um, if you focus on like just in front of you, like the money for the short term, you don't see the good side of like a long-term investment, like what you do in this talk show, right? Because so you got like uh the goal that you can achieve short time period, like 3 months or 6 months, and 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and in 10 years time, where would you like to be? you know Maybe in 10 years time you'll be doing lots of talk show in Japan, in Hawaii, in America, you know maybe leading SDGs strategy in Japan, and Hiroshima would be one of the successful model cities, something like that. If something in your mind that's you want to do in 10 years time, then what you're doing is definitely lead to that goal. And then this is the important investment that you want to do now.
Yeah, I think that that's really good advice. And working with you has helped me create the in-person events and online events again, to try to have a little bit of revenue, but also to start creating kind of a resume or believability in the public
Mm-mm.
eye, so
Mm-mm.
people can trust me for my ideas and for what I do. And I think
Mm.
this is definitely good advice in Japan. Don't you think that you need to have kind of a long term resume that people can refer back to and
Mm-mm.
then trust you to work with you in the future?
Yeah, because I mean it is okay to change, but uh, it is um, good for you to have this long time view, so that that doesn't it's there, and then it doesn't sort of shaken by the other events easily. If you got this firm 10 years time goal, and you don't always focus on the small things just in front of you, you get always bigger picture, in the long term, so that you can follow what you have to do to that 10 years time goal.
It's really hard to imagine what the world is going to be like in 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
yes.
everything's changing so fast, but it's
Mm-hmm.
it's so important to have someone like you to help people develop the long-term view of where do you want to be. I think that's a question we just don't ask ourselves enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if you can't imagine it, if you can't imagine where you want to be in 5 years, it's not going
Mm-hmm.
to happen. Like you
No.
have to first imagine it, right?
Yes, yes. That's very important, and something that makes you happy, excited. That's important, isn't it? Not just work, but something that lifts you up, make you feel better, and the happiness, of course, in your life. Mm. This is,
Yeah, we talked about your SDG blog that you wrote some ideas about applying SDGs to what you do.
mm-hmm,
Definitely helping more sustainable communities. But you also talked about education, quality education. I
mm-hmm.
really like that one. Can you talk about that a little bit?
This one is I just happened to hear this news in the morning that this uh boy, he wasn't allowed to use the tablet, but he's got a difficulty of writing, and but you should have an equal right to learn and to be educated, right? But the school was so stubborn; they didn't want to change the rules, you know. But the rules is not important. The important thing is that all the kids have uh, can receive the education equally, no matter what uh, they they can read, can write, or like this person, he cannot, or he can, but very very difficult to do it. Then so the schools focused on the rules. Following the rules is the most important for the schools, but most important thing was for that boy to receive the education, right? So just like the same thing where you set up the goal, the important thing is not following the rules but providing the equal education. So I wanted to, yeah, mention that one on my blog a little bit.
Yeah. It's so important to remember that of course we have these general guidelines and general
Mm-hmm.
rules and even laws that apply to the general good,
Mm-hmm.
society good, right? But there are going to be marginalized communities that it doesn't work for them.
Mm.
And so we need to be inclusive in society, and we need
Mm-hmm.
to find a way to also help them instead
Mm-mm.
of saying, no, this is the rule. Sorry, it doesn't apply to you. We have to think
Mm-mm.
about, I think,
Yeah.
especially in Japan, find ways to be more inclusive for people
Yes.
who have a special case, right?
Yes. Yes. Like
And
it's.
that's where you can help because you have your legal background, you're good at research, you're good at finding out the strategy, right?
Yep. I think I can.
That's great. We just have a couple more minutes. I just want
Mm-hmm.
to introduce how people can get in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
So they can reach out to you via line on
Mm-hmm.
Shacho-Bell.
Mm-hmm.
You have your great website, shachobell.com, right?
Thank you. Yep.
And your immigration focused work, legal work, is on
Mm-hmm.
visanavijapan.com. I'll
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to put all these below. You're also on Instagram and Facebook, right? And
Yep.
Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any message you'd like to leave us with? Any little bit of advice or inspiration for someone who's struggling right now?
Okay. If you are struggling with like what we talked about today, that you want to do something but you just can't do it by yourself, then I'm here. I listen to your problem and I clarify the issues, and I can probably help you make a plan, achievable plan, feasible plan. And yes, just consulting. The first consultation is free. So if you want to talk to somebody, just give me get in touch.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Eremi. I really appreciate all the good work you're doing and supporting business people, but also
Mhm,
a lot of international residents and a lot of Japanese companies as well
mhm,
who want to connect to international workers or even international workers maybe abroad, bringing them
mhm.
to Japan, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're doing great work. Please keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Eremi.
Yeah.
Everyone, have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye.